Hey Karu, um, yeah, I'm uploading the other video um, right now, and I just saw your new video that you put up there, so I thought I would respond at least in part. I want to talk a little bit about the Disney training before I go to camp, and as you can see behind me, um, I told Gareth not to be annoying, but I'm not sure he can handle that. So if he's doing annoying things in the background, just ignore him. Also, the rest of my family is actually packing the car for this trip to camp. We're supposed to leave in 45 minutes, but the Disney leadership training was really interesting. There were about 100 to 150 people there, and we had 20 people from the management team at the tribes, and I sat with Eric and Barb, who you saw in the pictures doing the Disney point. You don't point with one finger, you point with two, or with your hand or something like that, which was one of the things that I think most people just took away from that. But the leadership training was interesting in that there was a lot, calling it leadership training, I don't like this whole, I think there's this bogus thing about leadership, but they did have a really cool definition of leadership, which was anybody who takes positive steps or takes initiative to try to improve your organization is a leader and is showing leadership traits. And I think that within our organization that's really important, because I think people confuse authority with leadership, and they think if you have the authority you're a leader, and if you don't you're not. And I think that that's not healthy within the organization. So one of the things that I've really been working towards trying to do is empower my employees. And I started making a couple of videos about Edwards Deming, who's a guy who did quality control stuff and actually helped improve the manufacturing techniques in Japan, and is often credited with making Japan the industrial powerhouse that they've become. But he talked, and I'll talk about him some other time, but anyway, I've been reading him and talking about him to my staff, and this leadership training, this stuff about empowering employees to become leaders. While I don't like the terminology and it's hokey, it was useful. Now, that said, about 50 to 60% of the information was Disney propaganda, and it was about how great their organization is. But and so basically what they did was they said, this is the way we run our theme parks, this is the way you should run your business. But if you take a step back and well, when I looked at it, I kind of took a step back and tried to think about more generally how this could be applied and what kind of nuggets we could take from that. And actually it ended up being really useful, partially because our entire management team was there. So I ended up spending a lot of time talking with the executive director this last week about how to apply some of the stuff that came out of that Disney leadership training. And the definition of leadership, I think, is really important, and it's something that will make our organization better. The idea of a vision, one of the things they said was that you need to create a vision. And I don't like all this language, I don't like the terms they use. But the truth is that if you can tell people, if you have a goal and you know where you're going and you can clearly articulate it in a way that gets other people excited about it, then it makes a huge difference in creating unity within your organization. So that was useful. And what it did actually, what the training, what that one-day class did, was it created a language within which we could talk about it on our management team, and we haven't had that in the past. So while I was incredibly annoyed with the 60% of the propaganda, and actually it was kind of funny, they did a thing where they were talking about customer loyalty and how you need to inspire customer loyalty, and so they said, let's see who our most loyal customer is, and they had everyone who'd attended Disney theme parks stand up, and I was one of, I think, 3 people in the entire room who hadn't been to one. And one of the trainers, there were 2 of them, came up to me afterwards and gave me some Disney figurines for my kids and said, get your kids down to Disney. And I was like, but anyway, it was an interesting experience. I don't have time to respond to everything else. We're supposed to leave in like half an hour, so I've got to go put this together. I finished the song for Cece. I called it Mooney and the Blue Horse, and I gave it to her. I think it came out pretty well. I'll give you a copy of the recording at some point here. Maybe I'll post it up here over a video at some point. I'll cut it together. But it's going to have to wait till after camp, because even though I'm not anal about this sort of thing, the rest of my family, my wife, Bryn, Carew, your son, are all like bouncing off the walls to get in the car and drive to camp so we can then sit up there and wait for hours with nothing to do. But that's how it goes. All right, thanks for the video. Good video, by the way. I don't know how much you can hear of this because it's pretty chaotic out here, but I'll talk to you later. Have a great week. Bye-bye.